Grab your popcorn, rip that ticket, get in that seat, lickety splicket. Go watch a movie. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Go Watch a Movie, episode 157. I'm Kelvin.
And I'm Robert.
Take a look, and you'll see a world of pure imagination. No, we're not doing Willy Wonka, but we are doing a movie about imagination, so I found that fitting. We are doing Come Away. If you've not heard of this one or seen the trailer, this is a story about an adaptation of Peter Pan and Alice in Wonderland. But before we get into that, a little bit of entertainment news. First and foremost, this is good news for Mr. Roberto here. Transformers, the revamp for the film franchise, has been handed over to the Creed 2 director, Stephen Caple Jr. What do you think? Excited for that?
I'm excited not to see Mark Wahlberg.
What? No,
I still don't get it. But okay, that's what I'm excited for. And Transformers.
Anything you're looking forward to in this one? I mean, like any changes like that you would want to see? Do you want less comedy, more action, more Transformers?
No, I think it works with the comedy. I actually like the balance of everything together. Of course, I want to see more Transformers, but I would like to see more G1 looking stuff instead of I don't have a problem with what they did with because I think it looks cool. I mean, I'm going to be a diehard fan no matter what. Even if, like I said, even though Mark was in there, I still watched it. I still own it. I don't care. But I'd like to see just if they could do what they did with Bumblebee and just widen the universe. I'm going to be a happy man.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Bumblebee. I like as much as I criticized it. That was just my Transformer fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
But I still really much enjoyed Bumblebee big time. That is by far the best of them, and I think it's a good jumping off point. Like if they just go from there, like as
long as they don't screw it up, it's right there. You got a format now. Just use it and don't screw it up. Don't try to do something sneaky like, oh, we're going to throw something back from there. No, don't. Just stick to that.
I would love if they went Beast Wars, but that would be hard to convert.
Yeah, I just don't. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that either, but I just don't know how they would do it because you got to have the live action, like the people.
Yeah,
I just don't think it would work.
Like a time machine sucks them back there, and it takes a couple humans too.
You just nailed it.
I don't know.
You nailed it. You just wrote it for him.
Just spitballing here.
Hire this man.
All right. Next on the list, and this kind of makes me sad. We've talked about remakes on this show quite a bit and how they need to stop it.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out the directors agree with us of these old movies, and one has finally spoken up, and rightfully so. The Home Alone series, Disney has announced that they are planning to remake this classic.
Please don't.
Yeah. And hey, this is the only shining light. They want to use the Jojo Rabbit kid. But other than that, it's like, go to hell. Don't do this.
Yeah, that's a staple for me like around Christmas time. That's my Christmas movie. I don't know.
Yeah, and granted, we don't have to watch the remake, but it's like, or we don't have to watch the four sequels, five sequels.
Yeah, I like the second one. I'm okay with the second one. It kind of felt like the first, but after that,
yeah. When Macaulay Culkin left, that's when it's like, okay, I'm out here. Because they just felt like different. They felt more like Dennis the Menace, the ones after Macaulay Culkin. But the director, Christopher Columbus, spoke out and said, nobody got in touch with me about it. And it's a waste of time as far as I'm concerned. What's the point? I'm a firm believer. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I wish more people would do that. I wish more people who were like in those types of positions when somebody gets, when they slide the thing across the table and like, we're going to do this. And you look at it and you see it's a remake, just say no.
Yeah.
Just take a stand. And you don't be like, everybody stand together and be like, we're not going to keep doing these damn remakes. We're going to leave it alone.
Hey, you get your damn hands off that.
Exactly.
He went on to say, I'm a firm believer that you don't remake films that have had the longevity of Home Alone. You're not going to create lightning in the bottle again. It's just not going to happen. Yeah. I agree with him 100%. There are certain movies that you don't touch. Back to the Future, Home Alone. There's a couple more than a couple more that should just be left the freak alone because they're too iconic. And it's not going to work. How are you going to do it in this era? The era of internet, cell phones. Mm-hmm. Like suddenly he loses all power to his house. There's a blackout, maybe. I don't know. There's not really anything else because it's like, oh, I'm left alone. Boop, 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 boop. Hey, Mom, you guys want to turn around and get But yeah, we'll see. That I guess we won't see. Some of us will see. Because that's that'll bring us to. Let's discuss the showbiz. I'm going to continue this because it's funny. It's turned funny now. It was sad. It was horrible. Then sadder. Now it's just funny. So the fans of Johnny Depp, I am a fan of him, but I didn't get included in this. They now want. They started a petition. They said since he can't work in Fantastic Beasts, they want him to get rehired as Captain Jack Sparrow. They started a petition for him to get back in that. There are petitions all around Johnny Depp now. There's the one for Amber Heard. There's the one for. It's just the list goes on and on. Who would have thought Johnny Depp would be causing all this craziness? How many years later after he made his debut? You care about any of these petitions or anything? Do you think they'll work at all?
I don't. I think someone's paying attention, but I don't think they're necessarily going to work. I think people are going to do what they want to do regardless, like, the big wigs. But, I mean, it's cool that he's got a fan base that still want to see him and still support him. I think that's important. But outside of that, no.
Yeah, I think justice should be done on the Amber Heard side with the whole Aquaman thing. But at the same time, I guess we don't know what justice should be done yet because that trial is still going on. But that didn't, I don't know.
I think the bigger problem is just that you can say anything and then people will believe it and they can ruin your career. I mean, that's what we really need to address is that issue, not did he or didn't he? And, we love Johnny Depp or we don't love him. I mean, let's talk about the bigger problem. I mean, you can't just say something and then all of a sudden, poof, it's real. And, so we have, we got to fight against that. I think we should fight for truth, not just hearsay or I don't know what you want to call it, just rumor or bullcrap.
Truth, justice,
let's fight for truth.
We should, but sadly, that's not the world we live in anymore.
I think people are gullible. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. We believe too much the stuff that we hear on the news or on social media or just people talking in the break room. We need to investigate stuff for ourselves and find out the truth, not just be like, oh, I heard somebody say that around the corner. It must be true. No, find out for yourself.
Agreed. That's I couldn't have said it better myself.
That's my little rant for the day.
Well, with that'll bring us to trailers. You first or me, sir?
Go right ahead.
Since trailers have become scarce these days, I have been looking for the oddball trailer. And boy, did I come across one today. This film's coming in theaters or streaming services December 11th, and it's called Gunda. Now,
it's called what?
Gunda.
Okay.
And this is Victor Koskarov.
Wait, is this a foreign movie?
The executive producer is Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh, okay.
So, but if you watch the trailer, yeah, it looks like it's a foreign movie. So this trailer, how do I describe this? I'm going to actually read what they wrote, because if you watch the trailer, you would have no fucking idea what is going on with this movie. In this trailer, I'm going to say my piece first. In this trailer, it starts off with a mama pig laying in her trough, suckling pigs. And it's all in black and white. There's no music. It's just the sounds of the farm. And they're suckling. Little pigs run out. Then it's another shot of suckling. And, snorting and stuff. Wind blowing, rustling. Then it goes to chickens running around. Just pecking. Just close-ups on their claws, the talons. More pecking. Then there's a one-legged chicken just hopping around. And the chicken sounds. Still no music. Never music. There's a herd of cows doing what a herd of cows does. Trailer finished.
What? That's the most confusing thing I've ever heard.
Like I said, it's in black and white. There's no music. There's just the sounds of this film. Now let me read what they have. Experimental cinema in its purest form. Ganda chronicles the unfiltered lives of a mother pig, a flock of chickens, and a herd of cow with masterful intimacy, using stark, transcendent black and white cinematography and the farm's ambient soundtrack. Master director Victor Kukowski invites audiences to slow down and experience life as these subjects do, taking in their world with a magical patience and otherworldly perspective. Now, if I hadn't read that after watching that trailer, I would have been like, what the... Mm-hmm. Which I did too.
I kind of want to watch it if Morgan Freeman is narrating.
There's no, well, he might be. But in the trailer, there's nothing but the sounds of these animals. Yeah, that's my trailer.
Okay. You are right. Movie trailers are scarce. So mine, I can't top that. Again, how do I follow genius? Mine is called Girl with No Mouth. And this is a little it seems like a post-apocalyptic movie. And I guess there was a collapse. There's no, I'm pretty sure this is a foreign movie. There's no dialogue. You don't hear any talking. You just see the kids and you hear a couple screams. And then, so basically this girl, she's by herself, she's lost in the woods, and she's got a scarf over her mouth. So you're thinking COVID, but it's not COVID. She's just wearing a scarf over her mouth because she doesn't have a mouth and she's hiding it. So she's wandering around in the woods and she gets caught by these kids, kind of like the Lost Boys from Peter Pan. And they all have their own deformities. One doesn't have a nose, one doesn't have ears, one doesn't have eyes, but he wears goggles so you can't tell that he doesn't have eyes. And so they all go out on an adventure together. And I guess there's normal people who are either attacking them or they just are trying to get away from them. It's unclear because, like I said, there's no dialogue. It's just these kids with these deformities who are hiding them, running around in the woods. And I have no idea what to think about it. I don't necessarily like this trailer, but I saw it and I just couldn't stop thinking about it because it's just such a weird thing. But it seems like a cool idea. But since I don't know what's going on and they didn't give us any dialogue, I'm just kind of at a loss. So that's my trailer for the week. Girl with No Mouth.
Well, If you guys just want to send in some praise, we'd love that. We'd love what trailers you guys saw because, yeah, they're scarce. But I do want to see that one. Yours sounds interesting.
Check that trailer out and tell me what
is
you
it? How graphic is it? Is it pretty graphic? It sounds graphic.
And it's you know what? The special effects on the deformities look decent, so I'll give you that.
Okay.
I wish there was more of something, but I just couldn't tell you what that more is because that's what you got.
That'll bring us to Come Away. This was one of my trailers. Watchbot, if you would not mind.
8-year-old Alice and her mischievous brother Peter journey to London to sell a treasured heirloom. Returning home, Alice seeks temporary refuge in a wondrous rabbit hole, while Peter enters a magical realm as leader of the Lost Boys.
Thank you, Watchbot. Yeah, this was one of my trailers early on. Not early on, a few weeks ago. And yes, I once had a obsession with a certain woman in this film, but I have moved on.
Yeah, I feel you.
She's still breathtaking. I will give you that, but this one caught my eye because I'm a massive Peter Pan fan, and I love new takes on it all the time. And this one brought Peter Pan and Alice together, and I was super excited because the trailer showed all the highlights. I wanted the imagination parts to be a little bit more, just to get things started, because that's what the trailer showed for one. But it kind of let me down. I will say that. What were your initial thoughts on this one?
Initial thoughts from the trailer, I thought it looked pretty cool because, like you said, I like the combination of the two fairy tales, and I wanted to see where they were going to go with it. I didn't know if this was going to be like a literal like a retelling of those stories, or if it was going to be something else. And it ended up being obviously something else. I mean, they use those as kind of like gimmickry type things to help progress these kids' story forward, which, in all honesty, I feel was a really, really dark story, but it was presented in a childlike manner that I don't think it's got the punch that it should have if they would have taken a darker route. There was one moment that was super like dark yet beautiful at the same time, and that's when Rose becomes the Red Queen. Yeah, like if they would have went that route more so throughout the movie, I think it would have been more successful for me. But yeah, I agree with you. I think this one kind of let me down. Although I do like that it had some pretty dark subject matter, which I guess we can talk about later.
Yeah, I agree. I kind of wish it went a little darker, because we got the tale of a thieving kid and a drunkard in the making. I don't know what I was expecting, but I guess I wasn't expecting this. What is this thing rated? I don't even know what it's rated. It's PG.
Yeah.
But
which is so confusing me. This was supposed to be like for kids.
Yeah, which I don't think
but it wasn't.
Enjoy this. No,
but it wasn't. I mean, it was rated for a child, but it was not. It does say unsettling images, but it was not. This was not for children, I don't think.
I couldn't see a kid enjoying that much.
No, this is for adults who get the whole kid thing, but wanted something else and can decipher the messages that are hidden within the story.
Except that first 5 minutes, maybe, where Peter and David are playing and they're actually using their imagination. I was like, yeah, this is what I want.
Yeah, I love that when there was one scene where it was like they were fighting with sticks, but then they like switched over to swords really quick, but then back to sticks again. Which obviously show that they were using their imaginations, and I love that. I love that subtle hint at something instead of then we get bombarded, just blasted with, just blatant sadness.
Take my set all over your face, naked. No, I related with that a lot, that part, because it's like I used to do that with Power Rangers. You know, I had my stick, or, you know, if I was lucky, my mom got me a Power Ranger sword, and be in the front yard fighting trees, but really in my mind those were Goldar, you know. Like that. So, it used to be a blast, and I did it way too long because there was, you know, time in high school. They walked by, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "What?" Huh?
I was just thinking that, like your neighbors are probably looking out the window, like, "Look at this kid fighting trees."
You got to stop doing that when you hit college, you know?
No, you can't. Don't do it. Remember Step Brothers, when the guy was like, "I wanted to be a Tyrannosaurus more than anything. Then I quit." I said, "Don't quit. Keep on being it. You will. You will succeed."
I'm going to go back and kick that Bush's ass.
Go get you a stick and go to town.
But yeah, I love that aspect of it. And it fits the whole Peter Pan mold. I kind of feel like Alice was a little bit underplayed. Like this was pretty much Peter's story with a hint of Alice.
Definitely the fantasy parts where they go into the fantasy world. Mm-hmm. They did way more Peter than they did, Alice.
Yeah. She even played Tiger Lily, Like,
mm-hmm. Yeah,
like, huh? That's supposed to be Alice. What are you doing?
Yeah, very, very unbalanced.
But she did, I guess, have more of the real world. I gotta tell you, I hate critiquing kid actors.
Yeah,
but I've seen better.
Yeah. I don't think I love when Rose was describing to her about the bell, how that was really like a fairy, and the look that she was giving her mom, it was just like, you ain't fooling nobody. I thought that was hilarious.
But I love that too, because even though I should be pissed off, Tinkerbell's not bronze. What are you doing? No. But yeah, I thought she, yeah. I'm gonna get off the kid part. That's not. I shouldn't do that. But what do you think of Angelina's acting in this? And
I think it was okay. I don't want to go any further than just saying that. I don't think it was good. I don't think it was bad. I think it was just okay. I mean, I think when you hear the name Angelina Jolie, you expect a certain amount of something, and in this, when you don't get a certain amount of something, over the top certain amount of something, then you feel like you're being shortchanged. So that's kind of how I feel about her performance.
You think back to Girl Interrupted and things like that, and yeah. But I kind of feel like on the same note, and it's going to sound like I'm defending my once faded love. The same note, I don't feel like she had a lot to do.
Besides be sad and be like obviously heartbroken because of the death of a child, but I feel like the dad did such a better job. I mean, I feel like his performance was actually impressive,
and the brother.
But I just ended the dad, the crazy dad,
the granddad.
Yeah. I was like, what the heck?
Yeah. I did like that blending of the worlds. You got even though we kind of got thrown off a bit with the brother thing, like the Mad Hatter is the grandfather, Hook is the brother, even though the dad got his hand cut off.
That more make him Hook, but it didn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the dad, Peter's dad, got his hand cut off. He should have been Hook. But then later on, they're like, spoilers. Later on, Peter cuts his hand off, and the brother's hand off, and he grows a Hook. I was like, wait, what's happening?
Yeah, it's confusing.
But yeah, I don't think this film lived up to the trailer. Which doesn't make it bad. It's just not at all what they advertised, I think.
Yeah, I think there was some. Yeah, basically they didn't advertise it correctly. Because like I said, this isn't meant for who you think it's meant for. It's not what, I mean, I wouldn't, you take a kid to see this, like, oh, look, we're going to go see a Peter Pan movie. And then you get this dark story that, is just kind of toned down for kids. And it's like, I don't think this is what we were looking for.
Yeah, I can't imagine a kid running up to their mom, mommy, let's watch Come Away again.
They're gonna be crying the whole way in the car ride home. Like, why did you take me to see this?
or just like, I love that movie so much, Mom.
It does tackle some serious subject matter, though.
Yes.
I mean, basically, I mean, you remember when they interviewed Michael Jackson? I'm talking about Michael Jackson again. And he was like, I'm Peter Pan. And then every comedian on earth made a joke about it. So this basically was what happens to the younger brother in this. Because he witnesses his brother's death. Spoilers, sorry, everybody. And he becomes like... his maturity level becomes stunted. Is that what you got from it? So he becomes like a kid for life?
He tried to fight it. I think the little bastard had ADHD.
It's just weird.
I think he was dyslexic and he had ADHD.
He probably had a whole bunch of problems, but all of a sudden witnessing that and then all of a sudden thinking he's Peter Pan, it just reminded me of Michael for some reason. And which will probably forever happen whenever I hear Peter Pan after that interview. But still, I just feel like he was emotionally stunted. And then I feel like the sister...
do that too.
Yeah. And then I feel like the sister, the way she handled it was obviously just like the mom, because the mom obviously had a habit. And then the daughter, developed the same habit. Or it's implied that she develops the same habit.
They kind of did a switcheroo for a while. Because like when he first died... Peter became like, I don't want to be an adult anymore. And he was trying to fight his childlike mentality. And then the daughter was like, we're kids forever. He'll be back. Let's play more games. You know? So I'm sorry. Let's play more games. Posh. Let's play more games. And then when they realized that no matter how hard they tried in those, they couldn't fight their true natures, then they flipped to now Peter's like, you know what? I am meant to be a fucking child forever.
Yes.
I'm kind of upset. Let's I don't want to skip to the end, but like that's where things start, Yeah.
I mean, I think they did try to make a pretty big point at the beginning, having an interracial couple.
Yeah, so, especially in those times.
Yeah, so I appreciate opening that conversation. Mm-hmm. And there was some dark language, not bad, but dark from the I don't know who she was, if she was like the sister of the mom or whoever she was who didn't have any kids, the aunt or something. I don't know who she was. I mean, it's good that conversation was open to show that it was wrong, but I don't think they really pressed the point to say that it was wrong as much as they should have.
Yeah. Now, do you think the sister was mad because he was black, or do you think it was because he failed at life?
It was a combination.
A combination?
But I think she probably focused in on one thing more so than the other.
I gotta tell you what, if I was broken and couldn't afford the next payment of my house, I'm firing the nanny. We don't need a nanny. What do you have a nanny for?
Back in the day, I think everyone had like nannies and stuff. I feel like it, unless they were like super poor.
But these three were the worst parents that I've ever seen in my life, like including the nanny, because she have been fired not just because they couldn't afford her, but because not only did a kid die on their watch. After a kid died on their watch, you would think they would tighten the reins a bit, but no. One became a thief and leader of a gang called the Lost Boys, who wreaked havoc throughout London. And the other became an alcoholic. What happened here?
I don't know. Dark subject matter, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know how mad I would be at a brother to cut off their hand because of a debt for money.
Yeah,
it just seems weird to me.
I think it was more. I think he was. It seems like the father was always the favorite, and I think that was in there as well. because he was always the favorite of the Mad Hatter. Because it seemed like he held a grudge. Because when he came in, the Mad Hatter was like, "Oh my God, there's my son." There's, and every other he's like cowering from the Hook character. But when his loving son comes in, he's like, "Oh yeah." So I think it was also not just the money, but that I'm not my favorite son. And the same to more so on that point when he got the pocket watch, which was given to the favorite son, not him. So I think it was that as well as the money.
Yeah, I could see that. I think that's really a cruel thing to play on a kid, though, to make them think that they succeeded in something. Giving them this giant bag of money, and I don't think back in those times that anybody could walk around with a giant bag of money and not be noticed.
They wouldn't have made it home.
Yeah, there's no way. So yeah,
especially right after they show us a group of thieves,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they wouldn't have made it home. Yeah. Man, I don't know how I feel about this movie because I didn't hate it. I just wanted more Peter and Alice of an imagination Peter and Alice. Because you watch the trailer of other films like this, Saving Mr. Banks, which is about the Mary Poppins story, and it kind of tips in and out of her imaginary world and her father's, habits. But the trailer it doesn't show you all dancing penguins and chim chimmy chim chim chiroo. Mm-hmm. It depicts that this is going to be a sad fucking movie. Get ready. Same with Finding Neverland, with Johnny Depp. Like but this one is like it tries to suck you in with the story of Alice and Peter. And like I said, you definitely get shortchanged on the Alice part. Mm-hmm. But the Peter part, I don't know. It's just, I don't even know if I liked what they went with that because he just disappeared and they all seem fine.
Yeah, basically. So yeah, I think it was a good idea, but I think it was a poor execution, to be honest. I feel like I was given a bag full of money that wasn't really money. It's just painted pieces of metal.
Yeah. But then him and his lost boy. So were those the thieving kids that joined him?
Yeah, I'm assuming, but I don't think they really joined him though. I think that was all in his head.
So how did he steal all that money?
Because otherwise, I don't know if he really even did that. I think that's all in his head too.
But the dad came in and got all shocked when all the money was in his room.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll explain it, but I don't know.
You think Peter's just that insane?
Yeah, I think they're all crazy.
He's just living under that boat.
Think about it. There's no way that kid could have gotten all that money
and tied up brother dad's.
Yeah. And then left it at his dad's. And then maybe he just came and cleaned up. And then the dad, and that's the image we got when really all he did was clean up or something. I don't know. It just doesn't. It doesn't make sense.
I wanted to see them cut back to reality during that whole him and the Lost Boys fighting the Hook people scene. Like what was really going on in that scene? Because there's no way that he would have been able to, the alligator, the crocodile didn't really eat Hook's hand there. Like what happened during that scene? What?
Yep.
So many unanswered questions.
I guess that's good that they put that in there where it doesn't really make sense if you try to think about it and rationalize it, so that it gives you something to think about as far as the movie goes, other than like just the dark dankness of it.
Yeah,
in a childlike manner.
But I don't know. I think it was too late by then because I was already depressed as hell.
Yeah, I checked out pretty early. I was just kind of just watched it to watch it, but it's like, couldn't really connect with anybody. I didn't think any of the performances were over the top, except for maybe the dad, even the Hatter. I mean, Games and Games, give me your names. Why would you go into his basement after that? I don't know. I mean, Kane did fine, but he wasn't on there very much.
Yeah.
Michael Caine,
What you have Rotten Tomatoes pulled up, good sir?
It's very strange. So the tomato meter is about what I expected it to be. It's a 34%. Big green splat.
Oh, man.
That seems like an honest depiction of what this movie is to me. Audience score, however, with only 8 verified ratings is at 100%.
Oh,
so that's super just confusing. But I'm sure once more ratings come in, that's going to drop. But right now, it's at 100% audience score at this moment in time.
Well, if you listened all the way to this part, don't be misled by that. This is not a 100% movie at all. Yeah, I was disappointed. I don't know if it's because I expected something different, or
I think because you had high hopes. I think that's why your disappointment is higher. Mine's pretty high, but yeah.
Do you think I did like the Alice Starling thing? I thought that was nice.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that she became Wendy's mom, but I hate that she had to go on a drunken rager to do that, you know?
Maybe she didn't like her husband. She needed to get drunk. I don't know.
She downed that bottle big time.
I know. Didn't flinch. There's no way a kid can drink that much alcohol and not flinch.
But it explains Alice in Wonderland. Go watch Not For You, sir.
I am sad to say it's a no go. And that's no go.
I would say, I guess mine's no go too, because I was gonna say I would say wait until it's on Netflix or something like that, where you can watch it for free. Because not worth the price of admission. But where you can find us. I guess I should ask any standout moments for you.
Just when Rose became the Red Queen. I like that imagery. I thought it was
so brief, though.
It was terrifying yet beautiful at the same time. I love that. And the little fantasy moments that they showed every once in a while were decent. But no.
She wore the when the cards were just floating around her, and the hearts on the outside of her dress.
That was a really good moment, but it was the only moment in the movie that I enjoyed.
Mine was when the daughter got slapped in the face. Where you can find us at gowatchamovie.com, the one-stop shop for all things entertainment, and anywhere else a podcast can be played. The stories are there. I don't think I'm going to put either one of those trailers on but that's episode 157. I'm Kelvin.
I'm Robert.
Go watch a movie.
Grab your popcorn, rip that ticket, get in that seat, lickety split it. Go watch a